Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Before we jump into anything, just a couple of questions for y'all. The first one being, Patriots, how you doing? I missed ya. And second, what the hell is going on? Joe Biden wants to give Gaza $100 million of our hard-earned money for humanitarian aid. The same Gaza that Hamas controls, that went into Israel and slaughtered 1,400 Israelis and is launching rockets from Gaza. That's where Joe Biden wants to give $100 million to. And then we have a destroyer shoot 15 drones out of the sky and 3+ cruise missiles. That is a Iranian terrorist proxy group that launched all that stuff, of which Joe Biden wants to give the Iranians $6 billion in humanitarian aid. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to kind of figure this all out on where the money's going and what it's being used for. It's insane. It's insane. I know. We haven't even got into it. That's just the opener. Support us by hitting that like and subscribe button. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. Leave us a comment down below. Your help support would be greatly appreciated. Well, folks, the knucklehead in the Oval Office, the puppet that's being ran by somebody, we don't know who, is giving Gaza $100 million of our hard-earned money. So the State Department, just wait till I read this, admitted Thursday, they admitted it, that humanitarian aid sent to Gaza could easily end up in Hamas's control. Yes! Like, what did you think was going to happen when you look at Gaza and you go, all right, guys, we're going to give you $100 million. Make sure you don't use it for terrorism. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. What do you think? It's unbelievable that these people are running our country. And people will still vote for it, you guys. That's even the most mind-boggling thing. You're voting for a guy that's basically giving money to terrorists. And people will still vote for him. Phenomenal job. Okay. Well, at the State Department's press briefing, it's amazing that the State Department has had a press briefing when we haven't even had a White House press briefing in like 9 days. All the while, bleep is hitting the fan, no press briefing. You get the dude showing up outside his bedroom door on Air Force One answering a few questions, and I'll put answering a few questions in air quotes because that was a debacle of a scene watching our president try to formulate coherent thoughts. That's for another video. But it's amazing here that they have more press briefings right now than our actual White House does. So at the department's press briefing, spokesman Matthew Miller revealed that Israel is warning about sending money directly into Gaza to benefit innocent civilians because Hamas controls everything in the Gaza Strip. Well, hold on. Well, time out. I was told that there's an occupation going on and that Israel runs the show. That's what the pro-Palestinians are saying, or the Palestinians. And I'm getting all my information, by the way, from watching Piers Morgan, his show, when he's had numerous pro-Palestinian people on there. I got no skin in the game. I tend to lean more towards Israel, but, you know, I'm just looking at both sides trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. So, again, Israel hasn't been in Gaza since like 2005. And it doesn't, again, take a brain surgeon to understand that a terrorist group that was elected named Hamas is getting $100 million for humanitarian aid, of which you know what they're going to use it for. But Joe can't comprehend this. This is the guy people want running our country. Look what he's done to our country. I shouldn't be surprised about the foreign policy aspect, really. I mean, this guy can't even figure out our own borders, let alone our foreign policy. Get this guy out of office, please. Somebody do Joe justice. One of his family members seriously needs to speak up. Be like, all right, man, look, you gave it a go. That's what Bo wanted, your son. You did it, okay? You checked it off the box. Let's leave what we've done here and kind of, you know, ride off in the sunset and never show our face again. God, that would be nice. Quote, the concern the Israel government has, and they've said this publicly, that they certainly said it is privately to us, is that any assistance that goes in will be diverted once it's inside Gaza. No duh. There's not an Israeli military force in Gaza. There's not any UN peacekeeping force in Gaza. The people with guns inside Gaza is Hamas. Absolutely. And so Hamas may try to divert the assistance and keep it from getting to the civilians who it's intended for. Gee, how do you come up with that logic? I don't know, maybe there's been like millions and millions of dollars of humanitarian aid poured into this place over the course of like a decade or two, and look the result of it. Like Gaza's in like third world still. They can't even figure out their own water and electricity, but they're going to blame it on Israel for everything. It's so head spinning how there's no personal responsibility. I've always said, again, I still don't have an answer, by the way. My question is, for somebody that's on like the Palestinian side, just my question again, because I don't know, I'm being sincere, I have no idea. If Hamas is a terrorist group and you elected terrorist group, not a good thing. Okay. But if you're a Palestinian and you see the result of Hamas and what they've done to Gaza, and they just slaughtered a bunch of Israelis, regardless of what Israel did to you and you did to Israel, wouldn't you think now is the time to like, hey, let's band up with these guys? Maybe we could work something out where the Palestinians are going, let's work with Israel. Israel goes, let's work with Palestine to get rid of this terrorist organization. Maybe we can coexist together and create peace in the Middle East without terrorists running the show. And then we can figure this out real quick because you're willing to help us. We're willing to help you. Let's get rid of Hamas. And then we're all happy. But that's not what I've seen. I've watched their hour-long interviews on Piers Morgan. Palestinian after Palestinian after Palestinian won't condemn Hamas. And when they do, it's weird to me, and we covered it here on the show, they're like walking a fine line between hating Hamas, but yet liking Hamas, but correlating Hamas with the Palestinian people. And it's so odd to me. Again, I'm just a third party sitting back trying to figure this all out. But everybody knows where the money's going to go. And so Joe woke up one morning and goes, yep, let's give him $100 million. In the same way he woke up, goes, yep, let's pull out Afghanistan. In the same way, when he got in the Oval Office, he woke up on his first week, goes, yep, let's not secure the border. And there's no thought. There can't be, you guys. There can't be. It's irrational. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it, honest to God's head spinning. And so he wants to give them $100 million, but he was also willing to give the Iranians, you guys, the Iranians, the lead sponsor of terror that just hands out missiles and drones and money left and right to terrorists who want to do you harm, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or Republican. He wants to give them $6 billion in humanitarian aid. And then they do a White House briefing. Hey, John Kirby's on the podium. Hey, John, can you tell us, is it frozen? Is it not frozen? Like, what's going on? Well, not one single dime has been spent. Okay, well, is it frozen? Again, not one single dime has been spent of that money. It's still in Qatar. It's amazing. The read in the wind on the messaging from this White House regarding if the $6 billion can be accessed by Iran or not is head spinning because they won't answer the question. They said it was unfrozen because they moved it from South Korea to another area because it was too hard to gain access where the money was at for the Iranians in South Korea. So they moved it to make access easier. And then they tell us that it was frozen, but then they recalled that and said it's not frozen. They just don't have access to it. But then the whole reason for moving it was to make it greater access to it. So then you say that, well, we don't know if it's frozen, but yet if the Iranians ask for it, they can have it. But John, didn't you just say it was frozen? This is insane messaging from the White House. You would think after all the bleep that's gone down over the last couple decades with terrorists, that you probably don't want to give the Iranians humanitarian aid, especially as a freaking government there that chants in their chambers, death to America, perform entire parades with our presidents as puppets, lighting them on fire along with our flag. Why are you giving them money? I understand people there need it. There's other countries in the world that can give them money that they're not chanting about. They're not saying death to America or about other countries. They're just saying it about America. So why are we giving them money in the first place? If somebody wanted your entire family to be gone and they were willing to seriously do it, kill your entire family, would you just start opening up your pocketbook? How much money do I have? Oh, perfect. Yeah, here you go. I'm telling you, they're idiots. And then they go, well, Trump administration was going to do it. Idiot thing to do. I'm so tired of the Democrats going, oh, well, Trump was going to do it. He's not a god. Stop it. He's not a god. I will vote for him because I like a lot of stuff he does, but I will call him out on the stupid bleep he does. He's not perfect. He's not freaking Jesus. I wish he was. I like more of the things he does than what he says. But I also like some of the things he says. Again, I will vote for him again. I'm a Trump guy. But I just hate, like, well, Trump was doing it, so it must be fine. But at the same time, you're like, well, Trump did it, but it's bad. Like, pick what you want, Democrats. Either the guy's bad or he's good and he's bad. Or are you actually going to think logically and say, yeah, some of the stuff he did was good and some of the stuff he did was bad, like every other president. Except you got a guy in the Oval Office right now that is almost worse than all the other ones and might be up there now as the worst one. And the reason why I say that is Barack Obama was the worst president because he allowed and gave a pathway for Iran to build a freaking nuclear warhead. And who was his vice president? Joe Biden. Who's in the office now? Joe Biden. Barack Obama gives a pathway for Iran that wants to wipe you and Western civilization off the face of the earth, a pathway to build a nuclear weapon, on top of giving them $1 billion. Joe Biden hasn't negotiated anything as far as a nuclear weapon, wants to give them $6 billion, on top of giving Gaza $100 million, on top of giving the Iranians another $60 billion that he just asked for. $60 billion. You know what you could do with that money here in America as far as our transportation and our roadways? You know what you could do with $60 billion? You could build an entire border wall for $60 billion. And we're just cutting checks willy-nilly. We don't have our own freaking border secure, and we're trying to secure the borders of a freaking foreign country before ourselves. Who do you think the Democrats put first? You can't make sense of it. It's literally asinine. It's so insane. So United States forces came under fire like multiple times in the last several days by an Iranian-backed terror proxy group launching drones and missiles. So as of the recording of this, we've downed like 15 plus drones. We've downed 3 plus cruise missiles. And sorry, now we're looking at 24 drones. Forgive me. It's insane. We have an American contractor died on Wednesday after suffering a heart attack while running a shelter during a drone attack. The New York Times noted that while military investigators were still trying to ascertain who launched the drone attacks, Iran has launched these types of attacks on U.S. forces. Multiple blasts from rockets and drones struck inside the base on Thursday night, according to Reuters. It was not immediately clear if there were any casualties or damage from the attacks. The report noted that terror groups inside Iraq that were backed by Iran had threatened the U.S. last week with rocket and drone attacks. It was last week that the whole conversation was happening about the $6 billion, and Joe's like, well, we might still give it to him. That's why I started off the show asking how you were, because I care about you guys, because you guys care about this country. And you show a lot of love to me here on the show, a fellow patriot, because I love the country as well, by hitting that like and subscribe button and joining in and tuning in every single episode. At the same time, we got knuckleheads out there doing this type of stuff. And the second question I led off with was, what the hell's going on? It's so wild. You literally can't make it up. So speaking of wildness, Comer raises questions about $200,000 of direct payment from James Biden to Joe Biden in 2018. Again, it's following the money here regarding the corruption of the Biden family, which is amazing because Donald Trump has a glass of water and they'll open up an investigation. That's not an exaggeration. It slightly is. Remember, they opened up an investigation from a phone call and they had transcripts of it with Trump and Zelensky. Like a literal phone call was like enough to open up an investigation. The guy breathes wrong. There's an investigation. It is so wild. All in the midst of Hunter Biden on multiple boards, along with his business partner, Devin Archer. Like somehow they know nothing about natural gas, but get put on a natural gas company board, a board of members for Burisma Holdings, of which they funneled money from Burisma Holdings to another company of which they had. And then Joe Biden has a bunch of shell companies like spread out everywhere, of which have high security risks that have been initiated by the bank of fraudulent activity, which is extremely rare for you to ever see in your lifetime. He has double. He has like I think it's 24 or something like that. It's so insane. It's so insane. And nobody's raising eyebrows on the other side of the aisle. At least for me, when I hear Trump, like people are investigating Trump, I'm going, okay, hey, you know, if he's clean, like let where the dices may roll. You're opening up a doorway for now us to pull this on Joe Biden. But the thing is that if you think about everything that's happened to Trump, regardless of whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump. He has to be one of the freaking cleanest dudes you've ever seen. Since that dude went down the escalator, they've been investigating this guy. The dude's literally been tapped by the FBI. They've gone through his books. They've gone so deep into this dude's life. They went through Melania's underwear drawer on a raid on Mar-a-Lago. I mean, he has to be that clean if they haven't found anything yet. And so they're throwing spaghetti against the wall just to find something on the guy, just to find something. And then they fraudulently go, well, is Mar-a-Lago house, or is some sort of a piece of property they had that they say that he overestimated or something like that, of which they underestimated. There's no way the price that they showed was the price. Come on. So you have that going on with Trump, probably the cleanest dude we've seen in a while. I'm not saying the things that he says is clean, but hell, like, if that's all you're going to get him on is those couple things, look at Joe Biden with the multiple shell companies, somehow is walking out with multiple mansions, been in government his entire life. His son that's done like crack cocaine off a prostitute's ass isn't indicted for like anything. We have millions of dollars coming from the Chinese, the Romanians, and the Ukrainians in the Joe Biden's pocketbook, and nothing's done about it. Come on. Come on. Well, you have this $200,000 of direct payment from his brother James Biden and his sister-in-law Sarah Biden, and is demanding the president answer questions about financial arrangements with family members that he has. This is all again coming from Comer, Republican of Kentucky. Has been leading this investigation, meaning Comer has been leading this investigation into the Biden family's business dealings since January, and whether Biden was involved in those ventures or personally benefited from them. Remember, it went from, I never had any conversations about any sort of business dealings with Hunter Biden or my family whatsoever, like none, to, well, I might have had some conversations with them, to text messages from Hunter going, my father's sitting right next to me, knows everything about what's happening, and he's going to be pissed, to video of a quid pro quo of Joe Biden in like 2018 or something like that, saying, hey, you know what? If you don't fire the prosecutor, Shokin, then you're not getting the $1 billion. Nothing's happened to the guy, like whatsoever. To the messaging now is, well, the conversations I was having with my sons and my family was just, how was the weather? Was the weather okay? Or I love my son, so I was giving him business advice. So it went from you knew nothing, never had a conversation ever about business, to all of a sudden, I might have spoken to him about something. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't even know where I'm at right now. Which, as I mentioned, could be a ploy to save his own you-know-what. Because if he's getting money from the Chinese, the Romanians, as well as the Ukrainians, it kind of makes sense right now why Joe Biden was giving the Chinese during COVID, or the endings of COVID, our oil reserve, which is supposed to go to states that were in a natural disaster like Florida, maybe there was a hurricane or something, so happened to sending our oil reserve to the Chinese, who just released a massive pandemic across the world, is harassing our aircraft across the seas, is wanting to invade Taiwan. He just so happens to send a large sum of oil from our reserve that's supposed to go towards Americans to a province in China of which Hunter Biden has business dealings. But nobody wants to look under the hood. But Trump says something funky on the phone with Zelensky. Whole investigation opened up. Money funneling from Romania into Joe Biden's pocketbook. Money from Ukraine. Also receiving millions of dollars from the Chinese. So it kind of makes sense why Joe Biden's being lax on his foreign policy and sucks at it, because everybody probably has dirt on this guy. That would make a little bit of sense, I would imagine. Well, Comer on September issued 3 subpoenas for the business and personal bank records belonging to both Hunter Biden and James Biden. Comer, in a video posted on X, also known as Twitter, detailing his committee's latest findings, Comer said the check was written by James Biden to President Biden as a loan repayment by questioning the timing. Bank records obtained by the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability have revealed a $200,000 direct payment from James and Sarah Biden to Joe Biden in the form of a personal check. Comer explains in 2018, James Biden received $600,000 in loans from AmeriCorps, a financially distressed and failing rural hospital operator. God, that sounds a lot like Hunter Biden being on the board of Burisma, who wasn't doing so hot, that was seeking after some sort of advice from Joe Biden when he was vice president on how to operate the company and what type of restrictions could be removed on natural gas and what kind of business the United States could help them with in terms of attaining more business. But we can't look under the hood on any of that, you guys. No, that's too logical. If you just look at everything right now from this viewpoint, whatever's logical is illogical to the Democrats. Whatever's illogical to the Republicans is logical in terms of what we should actually look under the hood on. So when Joe Biden sends Gaza $100 million and the Iranians $6 billion, which is illogical to the Democrats, that makes 100% sense, you guys. And it's so much sense that we should actually go out and vote for this guy because he's doing amazing things. And everything's ass backwards. I mean, it really is. Quote, according to bankruptcy court documents, James Biden received these loans based upon representations that his last name is what? Biden. God, what does that sound so much like? Gee, I don't know. Devin Archer being screwed over by his business partner, Hunter Biden, for all the business dealings that went down. He's about to get locked up. So in a text message, he goes, hey, can you help us out? And Hunter Biden's talking about this brand name of the Biden family. And now you see it happen here of all these business dealings and negotiations taking place off the Biden family name, the brand of which Hunter Biden has spoken about in text message to his business partners and his family members. Now we're seeing it come more to fruition, not just from the board members of Burisma Holdings and the other shell companies that were from the Bidens, but now we're seeing it from Joe Biden's own brother right here for representations that his last name Biden could open doors and that he could obtain a large investment from the Middle East base of political connections. Oh my God. On March 1st, 2018, AmeriCorps wired a $200,000 loan into James and Sarah Biden's personal bank account, not their business bank accounts, he continued. And then on the very same day, James Biden wrote a $200,000 check from his same personal bank account to Joe Biden. I wonder if James Biden is just going to pull I owed the guy rent money in the same way Hunter Biden was paying Joe Biden like $60,000 a month for rent. This was said previously from Republicans that over the course of decades, it is believed, allegedly, I have to be careful, that the Biden family has funneled money in so many different directions for so long that it's so corrupt where it's going to take a decade within itself to unravel this whole spider web that was created by this family of funneling money every which way direction. It's not as easy as it seems. Republicans are working hard here. It's going to take some time, you guys. AmeriCorps, a distressed company, loaned money to James Biden, who then sent it to Joe Biden. So if you're distressed, you're pleading for help. Here's $600,000. Do you know a guy? Do you know a guy, James Biden? Oh yeah, I might know a guy named Joe Biden who might be vice president that could probably get you out of this distressed situation. Let me go ahead and receive $600,000 of loan money from you. And then I'm going to pay my brother $200,000 for some foozery. We don't know. We don't know what it was used for because the Democrats don't want to look under the hood. They would rather look under Donald Trump for saying, hey, go protest peacefully at the Capitol, or a phone call with Zelensky, or the guy's hand was shaking with a glass of water and trying to implement the 25th Amendment because he's unfit to hold office because his hand was shaking. All the while, Joe Biden falls off a stationary bicycle, falls up a flight of stairs like every week, multiple times, fumbles through his words, fights with his teleprompter, hits a golf ball backwards. Literally, I always share that one because it's mind-blowing. How many people in your life have you actually seen hit a golf ball backwards? Joe Biden pulled that one off. It says words that are completely made up, like chicken amount of pressure. And you don't want to talk about the 25th Amendment there, but Donald Trump shakes his hand with a glass of water, and all of a sudden he's unfit to hold office. But Joe Biden isn't. Like I said, what the hell's going on? But Comer said even if the payment was a personal loan repayment, it is still troubling that Joe Biden's ability to be paid back by his brother, depending on the success of his family's shady financial dealings. Yeah, I would say so. Well, some immediate questions President Biden must answer for the American people. Does he have documents proving he sent a large sum of money to his brother? And what were the terms of such financial agreement? Did he have similar financial agreements with other family members that led to some similar large payments to him? Comer also demanded Biden answer whether he knew the same day he received the $200,000 check. James Biden had just received a loan for the exact same amount from business dealings with a company that was in financial distress and failings. God, it sounds a lot like Burisma Holdings. Not saying it was, because obviously it was AmeriCorps, but it sounds like a lot of the situation of which Hunter Biden was on the board of. Why would you not get a guy that has connections onto your board that knows jack bleep about whatever industry you're in because his father is vice president of the United States? He has been in Congress his entire life. He's like Bernie Sanders that was a paper boy at 8 years old. Other than that, cycling like the government tit his entire life and somehow is a multimillionaire. The House Oversight Committee will soon announce our next investigative actions and continue to follow the money, he said. The bank records don't end here. There is more to come. Oh boy, is there a lot more to come. There has to be a lot more. It doesn't make sense. And when it smells like bleep, you know it is bleep. Let me know what you think about that one in the comment section below. Furthermore, amidst all the stuff going on, when we need to be unified as a party, as Republicans, to go after Joe Biden, to stop the funneling of money going every which freaking direction, when you have a World War III looming from the Middle East, Republicans can't get their bleep together. So much so, we're asking Democrats for help, you guys. In the House of Representatives, we're asking the Democrats for help. Let that sink in. The knuckleheads that are all for Israel just vanishing, some of the knuckleheads, meaning the squad, but look what they're doing to their cities. They can't run the show, and we're going, can you help us, please? What are we doing? Like, honest to God, what are we doing? You had a great nominee. Kevin McCarthy was not that bad, you guys. Like, honestly, he really wasn't. And if he was, put in the comment section below. It was like, this guy's so bad, we got to kick him out, and this was the reason why. In my personal opinion, there was nothing the guy did that was so drastic that he needed to get the boot. Now we got another guy who is a freaking phenomenal pick. I would rather have this guy over Kevin McCarthy any day. Jim Jordan. So Representative Jim Jordan failed to get enough support to win the speakership in 3 House floor votes. Republicans have elected to move on. You idiots. Not you, the viewer, of course. They're idiots. I'm sorry, you guys. They're idiots. What are we doing? This is not a good look. It shows us how disconnected our party is. And you got Democrats that are completely unified right now. Which I know doesn't make sense. How could they be unified, but yet all their cities and all their policies is just crippling this country? Well, you have GOP lawmakers voting to drop Jordan as their nominee in a new secret ballot in a Republican conference meeting on Friday today. The tally reportedly was 86 to 112. A new candidate form is expected to take place on Monday. Look, he's the best pick, you guys. So now we're going to get some knucklehead in there. Not saying he's not going to be able to do the job, but you just lost a great quarterback. He's good. I know to say never trust a politician, but damn, he's good. He's Trey Gowdy, Jason Chaffetz. So I would say it goes Trey Gowdy, Jason Chaffetz, Jim Jordan for me. And we just shot ourselves in the foot. And now we're asking Democrats for help. Let that sink in. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but we're dealing with Joe. We're dealing with Democrats. Now we're dealing with our own freaking party. It's like hitting your head against the wall. Right? Who's with me on this? Who's in the live chat? You with me on this? I'm with you guys in there. Let me know. Am I making sense? Because I'm just screaming at a mic right now, trying to make sense of, again, main question, what the hell's going on? Americans sending terrorist money? Holy crap. Well, we'll see what happens because you got Kevin McCarthy out. He was removed as speaker, right? Majority Leader Steve Scalise, he ended his candidacy. Jim Jordan is not going to work out. And Democrats have voted in a block supporting their nominee, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Look at New York, how well that's doing. But no single member has managed to receive a simple majority in the chamber that was needed to secure a victory. You guys, Hakeem Jeffries is a Democrat from New York. I've always said this. For you to excel in the Democrat Party and basically be pushed up to the top, you just have to royally suck at your job. Really. Look at every Democrat that's up there. Barack Obama came from Chicago, you guys. Look at Chicago. If you're from Chicago and you're a Republican, I'm sorry. Look at California, where I'm a Republican. You had Gavin Newsom that was going to run for presidency. I mean, you don't need to go any further than just saying the word California anymore, because our vice president, Kamala Harris, is from California. You look around, if you want to elevate to the highest levels of the Democrat Party, you just got to suck at your job. When you're actually good at your job as a Republican, clearly you don't get put in. I need a sip of coffee. Wet my whistle a little bit. Well, that's all I got for you, folks. I can continue rambling for hours on this stuff, but you guys deserve an episode. I've been kind of in the dark a little bit, and I've been doing a lot of stuff, but let me know what y'all think about this. I miss you guys royally. We're gonna do a Supernatural Saturdays tomorrow, of course. Share this link with your friends and family all over social media. Get the gathering going. We need more patriots, folks. We need some patriots that care about this country, because we might not have one day, and I mean that in all seriousness. We really might not have one day. As a matter of fact, I mean that so much, so I wrote an entire book called Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. If we don't fight back, folks, if we don't equip ourselves and unify as a party, we're not going to have a country. I know the Democrats say the same thing about us, but in all honesty, look at their track record against ours. Theirs is way worse. Again, hit that like, subscribe, leave us a comment down below. We do have a joint tab. Become a patriot today. We would love for your hard-earned money to actually go in a right place, because Joe Biden wants to send your hard-earned money to the wrong place. This is going to a right place. It's going to a good cause, to a conservative that shares your values, to a conservative that wants to get conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers. But we need your help to do it, folks. I'm a one-man show. I don't have any employees. I do everything myself, from the thumbnails to the video to the research to writing books to creating the merch to opening the merch store to running the website. I do everything single-handedly. All the while, I still work 2 to 3 jobs. We love your support nonetheless. With that being said, folks, I'll see you tomorrow here on the